Hi, this is David with David's Tutorials. In vlog post number 2304, we're going to get going today. The topic for today is how to write effective emails. The most important skill you can develop in your life, and I say this from my many years of experience, is developing effective communication skills. Now, there's basically only two ways you communicate with people. You can communicate verbally, like I'm doing right now, or you can communicate in writing. There are, of course, other ways, but those are the two main ways we communicate with people. Now, the first thing we need to do when we think about communication is, what's the purpose of communicating? The main purpose of communication is not, as many people think, for you to tell somebody something. No, that's not it. The main purpose of communication is for the other person or group of people to hear and receive, see, learn what it is you have to communicate. Now, in these videos, I have to be very careful in the way I speak so that you can understand it. If I were to mumble or just talk like this or talk like that, or do it in very strong accents of some sort or dialect, it would be difficult for many people to understand. So I have tried to develop my speaking mode so that the most people will be able to understand what it is that I say. When you do it in writing, you have a whole different skill set that you need to master, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is effective communication through writing, particularly in emails. Now, I'm going to talk about a very few things that are specific to emails. In other forms of communication, we'll probably do a vlog post on those later on down the line. But this one is about emails. So let's talk about what it is we need to look at in emails. When you write an email, you basically got two kinds of emails you're going to write. You're either going to initiate an email or you're going to reply to somebody. Let's talk first about when you reply to somebody. I'm pretty sure that all of us have received emails at some point, especially if you're a member of a discussion group that sends out emails. Groups.io is very good for that, by the way. If you're interested in learning more about that, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll go ahead and put out a vlog post on how to use Groups.io. We've got these emails that say nothing else. It just says, that sounds great, go for it. And you read that email and you think, huh? What's up with that? What are they talking about? How many times have you read an email and you have to go back and you read it and you still scratch your head and you say, what are they talking about? What you have to do when you write a reply in an email is to make it abundantly clear what it is you're talking about. You need to preferably drag your mouse cursor as you're holding the button down over the topic, the sentence that you're replying to, and then you paste it in the new email, or you just drag it up into the new email. You can do that in most email applications. And you say, I just received this email where so-and-so said, and then you quote it. Or you could just paraphrase it. And that way, the context of the email is apparent. So when you answer, hey, that sounds great, go for it, everybody knows what you're talking about. So you have got to include the context when you are replying to an email. That's number one in replying to an email. When you're initiating an email, you can do shorthand. And the period we went through from the late 80s up until the early 2000s of text messages taking over everything and everybody getting into text message shorthand, LOL, ROTFL, IMHO, all of these abbreviations have made their way into emails. We have gotten to the point where people seem to think it's a good thing to keep the number of words and characters in an email really short, and therefore it gets cryptic. And that is no good at all. I'm here to tell you, people read a lot faster than people write. So if you write a complete sentence, I think it sounds great for us to initiate this project. People read that pretty much just as fast as if you wrote, great, which is much more cryptic. So Write in complete sentences. Use the subjects, use the verbs, use adjectives where necessary, eliminate all adverbs if you possibly can, except where they're absolutely necessary. As I like to say, it's really, really, really important to eliminate adverbs. So that's one of those contradictory sayings that I just love. For example, every rule has an exception, including this one. When you figure that one out, let me know. Okay, so in your emails, when you're replying, you use context. When you're initiating, use complete sentences. Now, in emails, it's always important to be polite. People don't understand humor in emails. So if you have to use humor in emails, make it at your own expense. Okay? Another way to use humor in emails is to say something you don't want to do. For example, I just got a request from the executive administrator of the Lions Clubs of my state asking me to speak at the state convention here in a couple of months, and asking me, what do I need? Do I need any video equipment, any projectors, any screens, that sort of thing? And I wrote him back and I said, thanks for the offer. I don't think I need any other equipment. I don't need a projector. I don't need a screen. I don't need a brass band. And I don't need confetti cannon and strobe lights. So that's kind of humor, and it's obvious, that sort of thing. It doesn't have humor at anybody else's expense. And sometimes I'll say, well, sometimes I forget things because I'm just getting old. And that's at my expense, and that's okay. So when you use humor, use it very, very sparingly and ask yourself, is there any way anybody could misunderstand this and it would hurt their feelings? And you just want to avoid that. Now, speaking of thinking of it from the other person's standpoint, it's also very important when doing any written communication at all, including in emails, to ask yourself the question, is there any possible way someone can misunderstand what I'm saying? Read it from all kinds of perspectives. Read it from the person you are absolutely sending it to. Read it from the perspective of, if this person forwards that email to somebody else and somebody else is coming at it from a totally different perspective, is there any possible way that they could misunderstand it? And if there is, you just have to rephrase it so there is no possibility of misunderstanding. Okay? That will make your email communication, be that much more effective. And that's what you want, isn't it? You want to communicate effectively. You want the people who are reading this email to understand what it is you have to say with no misunderstandings. Now, in order to be more polite in your emails, it's a very good idea to use a salutation up at the top and a sign off at the bottom. And I'll tell you why. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, when you use a salutation, it's basically you're greeting this person like you're seeing them for the first time in a while, and you want to say, "Hi, Bob," or "Good morning," or "I sure hope you're having a fine day today." Just anything like that. You greet somebody, and it's the polite thing to do. Another reason for that is many times I want to send a copy of my email to somebody else who I think would be interested, and I don't want the person I'm sending the email to think that they're just one person on a list. I want them to feel that they are my exclusive focus, and they were in that email, but then later on I decided, hey, I'm sending this to Bob, but Janice over here, she might like to read it too, so I'll make Janice a recipient in the BCC field. Now, BCC, it means blind courtesy copy, and a blind courtesy copy means that nobody else can see that you sent it to them. If I put in the BCC field, I put Janice, then Janice will get a copy of the email, but Bob won't see that I also sent it to Janice. Now, when Janice reads this email, she'll see I saw right up at the top it says, "Hi, Bob," and she'll know instantly that I wasn't sending it to her. Okay, so that's another important reason. If you ever want to send blind copies to people, then it's very important that you use a salutation, not to mention that it's also polite. Now, for the sign-off down at the bottom, I like to use "take care" because it's friendly. It explains that, hey, I wish you a good future period of the day, week, month, whatever it is. And it's just sounds like I want it to sound. A lot of people use best regards or just regards or warmest regards or other things that they sign off with. And you need to find a good sign off that suits you, your personality, your wishes for everybody you're sending it to. And of course, you can sign off either with your first name, your full name, just your initials. And it depends on who I'm sending it to, whether I sign with just my first name, I use my initials, or I will sign my full name. It depends on who I'm sending it to, what degree of formality I want in there. So that is the courtesy and the utility of using a salutation and a sign-off at the beginning and at the end of each email you send. Now, let me look at my list here and see what else we got going on here. Here's something that is a pet peeve of mine. When you send an email to a group, to a list, always put your recipients in the BCC field. And here's why, and it's very important. You need to put the people in the BCC field because if you don't, if you put it in the to field, I've gotten emails with 70 people in the to field or 35 people in the to field and 35 people in the CC field. CC is a courtesy copy. And when I reply to that email, guess what comes up from my email client? Every single one of those names and email addresses is sent to anybody that I forward that email to. Every one of us out there watching this video, you have to tell me if I'm wrong, hates spam. Now, there are spammers out there that are low-class people, and if they get a hold of one of these forwarded emails that has 70 email addresses on it, they celebrate because they harvest every single one of those email addresses, and then they go sell it to a database company that sells these email addresses to the spammers worldwide. And there are people out there who do that. They sell lists of email addresses. And if an email address is live, it's valuable, and we're going to send you all this spam. So put all of your list of names into the BCC field, and that way, when you send me a list recipient of 70 different people, this email is very important, and I think it's so good I want to forward it to 12 other people, I don't also send those 12 other people this list of 70 email addresses. So if you put everybody's name and address in the to field or in the CC field and not in the BCC field, then you're basically doing irresponsible emailing. Please don't do that. Put everybody in the BCC field. Okay, enough on that one. Next topic, last topic. Okay. If you are not over 50 years old yet, you don't know this. People over 50 years old, their eyesight declines. I am well over 50 years old. I may be more years over 50 than you are old, depending on your age as you watch this. But when their eyesight declines, it's not as good as when it was younger. I used to have pilot's eyes. I had 2015 in my right eye and 2012 in my left eye. They're not there anymore. So I used to have really good eyes. They are not good anymore. I need larger print. Anybody who is going to read your email needs print larger than 10 points, larger than the small type that usually is the default font on any email application. Now, an email application is what's called an email client, and that could be either a web browser where you go to gmail.com or yahoo.com, or it might be something like Outlook or Eudora or Thunderbird or one of the email applications. Now, most email applications, and I have to say this is for computers because I have not yet found a good email application for a phone that allows you to do this that I'm about to tell you to do. Change your default font size and probably the font, you can leave it at Arial or Cambria or anything that's easy to read, okay? The font size should be at least 14 points or 18 pixels. Now, you can make it larger, you can make it 16 points. I believe 16 points is the font size used in large print books, okay? So if you have a lot of people on your list that are over 50, over 70 like me, and sometimes even older. They will appreciate the larger font size. And so if you will just use a larger font size in your default email client, whenever you reply or whenever you initiate a new email, it will come up in this font that you have designated as the default. And that's all I've really got. So you'll probably agree right now that there are 20, 30, 50 people that you know that need to see this email and learn to write effective emails. So please just click on the share button down below and send this email wherever you think people need to hear it. If you thought this email was helpful and that YouTube should recommend it to other people, give me that thumbs up. It'll also let me know that you thought it was helpful as well. As always, leave me a comment down in the comment section below and let me know what you thought of this. If you have something to add to what I said here, put it in the comment section. If you thought what I said was wrong, put it in the comment section. If you have a suggestion for a new topic, put it in the comment section. Or if you want to send me a private email, go to www.davidstutorials.com, click on the contact menu item and then on the vlog item, and it'll take you to a form where you can actually send me a private email and I will take it into account. I read every single one of them. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, and I appreciate every single person who is a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button and then click the bell icon, and YouTube will notify you the next time I post a wonderful new vlog post right here on David's Tutorials. Take care, everybody, and have an absolutely wonderful day.